Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 9 of chapter 10. Matchitta madgata pranaha
Machchitta madgata pranaha
bodhayantah parasparam
bodhayantah parasparam
kathayantascha mam nityam
kathayantascha mam nityam
tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Forward meaning, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Matchittaha,
Machchittaha,
their minds fully engaged in me.
their minds fully engaged in me.
Matgata pranaha,
Madgata pranaha,
their lives devoted to me.
their lives devoted to me.
Bodhayantaha,
Bodhayantaha,
preaching.
preaching.
Parasparam,
Parasparam,
among themselves.
among themselves.
Kathayantaha,
Katayantaha,
talking.
talking.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Mam,
Mam,
about me.
about me.
Nityam,
Nityam,
perpetually.
perpetually.
Tushyanti,
Tushyanti,
become pleased.
become pleased.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Ramanti,
Ramanti,
enjoy transcendental bliss.
enjoy transcendental bliss.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Translation. The thoughts of my pure devotees
The thoughts of my pure devotees
dwell in me.
dwell in me.
Their lives are fully devoted to my service,
Their lives are fully devoted to my service,
and they derive great satisfaction and bliss
and they derive great satisfaction and bliss
from always enlightening one another
from always enlightening one another
and conversing about me.
and conversing about me.
So here in this shloka, the Lord is talking about the result of knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and faithfully accepting that point. So what do the devotees do? So pure devotees, whose characteristics are mentioned here, engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. So the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord, simply by the act of completely surrendering to the Lord, evoke immense contentment and bliss. But the actual love reaches its zenith when you reach Goloka Vrindavan. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity And if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies. Just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. Prabhupada is comparing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to watering that seed of devotion. So the chanting has to go on, it can never stop. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyotir effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavana, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. So chanting and hearing also continues in the spiritual world. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavatam itself, Canto 12, Chapter 13, verse 18. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The Bhagavatam is very dear to the Vaishnavas. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. So, Prabhupada is talking about how the minute one surrenders to the Supreme Lord, then you become inseparable from the Supreme Lord. You cannot just think of separating yourself from the Supreme Lord. What is the Lord saying? The Lord is also saying here in the Shloka that his pure devotees are completely absorbed in him. Either they are serving him, or they are talking about him, or they are always thinking about him. This is the essence of pure devotion. Matchitta matgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.